Welcome to Bold Talk series, where creativity, leadership, ideas, innovation come together. My name is Epi Ludvik, and today I have a privilege to have a short one-on-one conversation with Maher Hanafi, Senior VP of Engineering at Betterworks. Maher, great seeing you, and welcome to our Bold Talk series. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you, Epi. Thank you for having me on your podcast.
Great. Maher, so awesome to see you. Let's start first with your journey as both technologist and entrepreneur. What early experiences shaped the way you now approach engineering, leadership, and innovation?
Yeah, thank you, Epi. This is a good question, obviously. I mean, I had a kind of a unique career path where at the same time I was growing my day job and technologist. As a technologist, I was really focused on deepening my expertise in very specific engineering areas, focus on fundamental innovation and development, all of that. And then honestly, I stumbled upon entrepreneurship. I was so passionate about some of the technologies I was pursuing. And I ended up, solo founding my own company, delivering software to the world, millions of users across the board. Definitely that entrepreneurship experience transformed or took my technical proficiency into more like leadership. Because when you are an entrepreneur, when you own like a product that you're building and serving to the world, like you own the whole stack, the journey from A to Z, from building, designing, thinking about solving the problem to ensuring from a business, this is like there's a return on investment, this is growing, this is evolving. So I think the lessons I've learned overall from doing this entrepreneurship is like a little bit more building a vision driven engineering technical leadership, like really focus on prioritizing business alignment, making sure that whatever I'm doing is going to lead to business, positive outcome. It's not just for fun, it's not just for learning, it's also turning things into reality from a business perspective. The second thing is like solving problems across the stack. It's not just, if I'm a front end engineer or back end engineer or mobile engineer, like for me, solving problems across, the whole stack of the journey from designing the product to delivering the product. And then most importantly, again, I think doing more with less, or like building a little bit a higher sense of empowerment and autonomy. Because when you are a solo entrepreneur creating something from the ground up, you get exposed to a lot of technologies, you face obstacles and you solve them. So when I lead teams from a technical leadership perspective today, I always think about that whatever problems and obstacles you face as a team and as an individual, you will find your way through it. So these were very important lessons I learned early on without planning for that. Like I didn't go and look for these as an educational material. I just stumbled upon entrepreneurship. I ended up learning a lot from that helped me throughout my career as an engineering leader.
Great. So, Maher, Betterworks is trusted by some of the world's most complex enterprises. When you walk into a room with their executives, what do you feel is the most powerful message about performance that immediately resonates with them?
Very interesting. I think the most important part is the capabilities of the platform and how it can transform their business. Because when we think about performance and talent management in big enterprise customers, as you said, like we're talking about very complex orgs, location wise, business units, the structure is so complex that for them to just lead a simple goal settings, performance management, talent and skills management in their org is very complex. So for them, really finding that strategic tool and capable platform that can serve that. The other thing is really when it comes to this is not like a regular SaaS B2B software vendor solution where you go and buy it off the shelf and just use it. They're looking for building trust with the platform, building something that can scale over time with their needs, with their structure, that has also a future proof based on their future growth and evolvement. And then that is more designed to achieve that kind of holistic business views or business vision. It's not just to run, performance for individuals or small teams. It's for the whole business. So I think these executives from enterprise customers, what they're looking at when I focus a little bit more on engineering and software, they focus more on a scalable and stable platform that can serve them. Obviously, because of the complexity of their structure, they have very specific needs in terms of like permissions and authorization and visibility into that. So they want to make sure everything is like highly trustworthy, scalable to the degree they need, and stable as much as possible. They don't want to have gaps in performance and in in the tool and in the platform. And then, as I said earlier, like going a step back from engineering and technology, they want to have that strategic alignment between what they want to achieve and what the platform we're offering at Betterworks, as an example, can help them do. So that strategic alignment and evolving with them and growing with them as they grow and using and leveraging the platform to do talent and performance management is so key. So that's where, AI got into the conversation at some point. Everyone is trying to use AI at some point to help with performance and productivity and all of that. And we've been lucky enough at Betterworks that to have that kind of AI early on vision to include AI and support our customers using AI within the flow of work, within using Betterworks instead of going and using external tools. So I think that's the last point is like innovation and keeping up with modernization of the software is something executive at these enterprise customers are looking for as well.
Now, what excites you most about AI's role in performance management, and what guardrails do you believe are essential for its responsible use?
Yeah, I mean, this is an area I'm focusing a significant amount of time of my energy as a senior VP of engineering on is like building AI, and also I'm very excited about the role of AI in performance management, but this is like a people heavy or a people centered, aspect. Like when you talk about performance, talent, and skill management, this is not just, pure automation of like a workflow or something. This is very centered around the human being, understanding the psychology and helping businesses and orgs and people organization address this. So what I think when I think about AI and why we're so focused on bringing AI to life and Betterworks and the performance and talent management software is because we believe that, performance management is not just a hard-coded process, a predefined, this is what you do. I think it should be a little bit more intelligent and dynamic in adapting to structures and times and like stages of companies and their performance overall from a business side of point. It should be also very personalized. I don't think you can apply performance management and talent and understanding skills the same way for every individual, for every team, for every company, for every geolocation. So personalizing this experience with the help of AI, I think, is going to be very interesting to see when it comes to the outcome. And then the other thing is like a little bit more proactive growth system, really finding ways that, AI is capable of too many things today that we are just catching up with its capabilities. And I think one of the biggest area where we see AI bringing a lot of value to performance and talent skill management is that kind of proactive growth, understanding where you're trying to go as an individual or team or organization and help you build systems in place. It's more complicated than just setting a goal for yourself and your team, your org. AI can look at a lot of data, and we're lucky enough at Betterworks to be sitting on a gold mine of data when it comes to goals, sessions, feedback, recognitions, calibration, skills, and all of that, to be able to pull and maybe help proactively build a growth roadmap, career development cycles for individual teams and orgs. And I think that's where AI will make this thing that used to be kind of impossible or extremely complex to do simpler and easier. And that's where we're trying to tap into.
Nice. Now, Mayor, looking at the broader HR tech industry, why do you think traditional performance reviews have failed so many organizations? And what cultural shifts are necessary for companies to truly embrace continuous performance management?
Yeah, I mean, I believe as part of Betterworks that, the regular yearly annual performance reviews is failing, obviously, because of the static aspect of that, the lack of adaptation and customization, personalization to the framework. We live in a post-COVID era too, where things are moving a little bit faster. Psychology and the psychology safety and like the performance that we expect from individuals is a little bit different from what it used to be before. The way we work, our location and, between the remote and hybrid and like in office experiences are all impacting, how performance is dealt with. You don't have everyone sitting in the office the same way we used to have before. So I think a continuous performance and management is so important to ensuring that this is not something that you will worry about at the end of the year or like once or twice a year. This is something that you do on a frequent basis as needed, depending on the size of your teams and the schedules and the stage you're in. You need to tweak this program. And this is where Betterworks fits really well because it's going to be the central hub for all of your tasks and workloads and pipelines that are related to performance. We track all of that data, and you can run sort of like performance reviews at any time of the year based on what you know and what you have. We have a lot of features to enable that kind of real time understanding where we are, where we're going with this. A simple feature like meetings that we have, one-on-one meetings or like group meetings, where you can track discussions, topics, agenda items, helps you a lot to understand where you are, if you are on track or not. We're not talking about the tools where you track your progress and like your work. If you think about software engineers like Jira or GitHub, we're talking about overall performance and relationship with your manager, with your team, and overall achievement of goals you have for yourself. Um, and if you add to all of that, I think the HR tech industry is going to be significantly impacted with the involvement in, AI powered features because of that proactive looking to adapting systems to use AI so it can help you with career development growth ahead of time. One of the biggest problem with like the annual performance management reviews is at the end of the performance review, you get to know if you're doing well or not. You're getting to know if you're like excited about what comes next or like more challenged. And that has to change completely with the help of AI. You can have a little bit more signals that will indicate to you if you're ahead or behind, and you can work on that and improve it over time. So the mix of continuous process and AI, I think, is going to completely significantly change the AI chart.
Yeah, very well said. Uh, Now, when it comes to a leadership is hard. You always have to evolve. You have to adapt. It's about truly being at the right time to make sure that the things doesn't go in either way, that the extreme. So you got to be overall. You got to be always an alert. What is one leadership decision you made that felt incredibly, because leadership comes with a lot of risk, right? And what made you felt an incredibly risky at that time, but turned out to be a defining moment in your career?
I've had some pivotal moments in my career, critical times, but I think the biggest one was when I was CTO at Thrive Global, kind of a mid-sized company, B2B SaaS enterprise. And we were talking to Fortune 1, Walmart. We were trying to get Walmart as a customer. A lot of employees globally, the biggest customer you can ever dream of when you are in like this space. But Walmart has this requirement of like we had to migrate our cloud, provider to use a different one, and they had very specific needs that we need to meet with them. When we were like mid-size at that time, so we didn't have resources and kind of the plan to achieve all of that, and it was not necessarily needed for every other customer. We were multi-tenant. I was in a situation where I had from top, leadership board and all of that, like from a business, as I said earlier, from a business alignment, business driven engineering leadership, like I needed to get that deal. I need to move forward with that and do whatever is needed to achieve that. But from a technical perspective, that was a challenge for us. That was not necessarily a path we were looking at, migrating our cloud workloads completely to a different provider. So I started having conversations with my team. I got a lot of pushback from our architects and directors and like lead technical leads because they were just, not looking too much into the business value. They were more like, from a technical perspective, this is a bad idea. But for me, I had to find that kind of middle ground where it makes us work technically and business wise. It has to work. So I had to really have conversations with my team, use every leverage I had from a trust, from a competence development, from convincing my team that this could be best for you. And I had people saying, "Oh, I'm so expert in the cloud provider we have today that I have no interest in pursuing and migrating to another one. I'm going to leave if this happens." By the way, but at the end of the day, these same people who are pushing back and skeptical to the whole idea, not believing in the vision. Kind of long story short, like we went ahead with that. We grew our team to achieve and deliver on this. We got the business with Walmart. And then the same people who pushed back early on became very interested in the new cloud provider and the new stack and the new technology. They got very interested to the point where they start learning about this more and building and enjoying building there. And now they felt like, oh, I'm expert in two cloud providers. I'm very
Amazing.
proud of doing that. I developed my career over time just because of this kind of challenging situation I had. So that taught me again how important building trust, how important building an engineering culture that can follow you as a leader, even if it doesn't look like the right decision from a technical perspective, and how important it is for me to trust my business guts and follow the needs of the business to achieve that. So it got the best of the two worlds. And that was definitely the biggest kind of most pivotal, critical event in my career as a technical leader.
Amazing. Mayor, I always ask this as a last question to my guests, and that is about the word bold. What does that mean to you personally?
Bold, most of the time for me means in the space I'm in is taking on a new challenge that you always were afraid of taken on heads first. You know, for me, like in the last few years was AI for sure. Like moving into AI and trying to be as deep into understanding how AI works and bringing that to life was a bold move because I had no AI background and experience before. And it might look like, it's not going to work, but I really believed in myself and put myself in positions where I had no other choice than going towards that. So I commit to do work, I commit to publicly speak, I commit to lead my team and doing things related to AI without necessarily having that background. And that gave me the incentives and sometimes even an external pressure. If I didn't have the intrinsic motivation, it gave me the external pressure to just get it done. And I'm so glad that I have that kind of bold approach to thinking about challenges and take them more as opportunities for me to learn. And I'm very proud to say that years later, I can speak AI. I can work and lead and drive AI innovation leadership just because I took that bold move into the unknown. So getting myself out of my comfort zone, I do that very frequently. And I think these are usually bold moves.
Yeah. Getting uncomfortable. That's the way to go. Mayor,
Exactly.
so great to see you. Thank you for joining me this Bold Talk series. Looking forward to seeing you again soon. Until that time, take care, be great, and be bold always. Bye bye.
Thank you so much. Bye.